Right guys, so welcome to our presentation today. We appreciate you guys taking the time out from work and coming and wanted to come here and be with us. The charity is called Lads Minds. It's about mental health in construction specifically, because we know that in construction it's a really big thing. And awareness isn't quite enough as it should be. The stigma's still there, and suicide rates are still there in construction. So we really want to kind of help people and open up to people, get people involved, and let people know it's okay not to be okay, and it's okay to talk about mental health. So like I said, welcome everyone. Thanks for coming in. Here's our presentation. My name is Matthew. This is Kieran. We are trustees of the charity. Pictured as Cayman there with a black hat. Cayman actually created the charity. We'll do a little dedication to him later on. This was founded on the Tideway site. Me and Cayman worked there about 2 or 3 years ago. The charity's been around for that long, and it was a really great site to work on. Great banter. Everyone was really behind it and helped us to launch this charity. So here we go. So just for today, what we ask from you guys, respect and support. So if somebody is sharing their story or opening up or talking, obviously respect what they're saying. If they're having a bit of a hard time getting their words out or whatever, a bit of support, pat on the shoulder, help each other out here. And interaction. The main thing about this for us is it's for you guys. We want you guys to get as much as you can from this. Get involved, share your stories with us, bounce off each other. It's not just us standing up here and giving a big presentation and everybody just sitting there listening. We want to hear from you guys. This is all for you. So anything that's said in the room today, it should remain in the room. It's all confidential. If someone opens up and shares a story about mental health or their own personal experience, please let that stay confidential. And it's going to be about 45 minutes roughly, the presentation, so if you could keep your phones just on silent mode for that time, it would be much appreciated. So, first off, what is Lads Minds? So we're a charity dedicated to mental health awareness, specifically for construction workers like yourselves. I work in construction too. I'm a chippy supervisor. I'm on an HS2 at the minute as a site, so we're not professionals, we're not professional presenters, we're not from the office, we're not anything like that. We're guys just like you, so that's where we're coming from. What we do is we visit sites and projects like yours, we host presentations. Welcome, come in. So we host presentations, drop-in sessions, which we'll talk to you about that, and workshops, and that's for the benefit of the workers and staff. So one of our big slogans, by the lads, for the lads. And so we work in the industry. It's been created by construction workers. We've experienced our own mental health problems, and we want to help others who might also be suffering in silence or going through a tough time, and who don't have a voice to kind of seek help and speak out about it. So they're the people we want to help because we've been in that same position ourselves. Another thing, and we'll talk about it a bit later, we host social events for all our fellow workers, our supporters, all their families. Everybody can be welcome to our events. And these are things like football tournaments, quiz nights, fun runs, bake sales, stuff like that. So we'll talk to you a bit about that later. So first off, Cayman, he was our founding member. He founded Lads Minds in early 2021, just after lockdown. Me and him were working together on the same site at the time, on Tideway. And he came to me with this idea that he wanted to start this mental health charity. And I just told him at the time, it sounds like an amazing thing. It's exactly what the construction industry needs. It's a great idea, and whatever I can do to help you raise this amazing charity up and become the great thing it's meant to be, I'll be there and I'll help you do that. And so in the first few months, Tideway and Forever got right behind it, and it really blew up really quickly. In the first few months we visited at least 10 different sites, gave it a similar presentation to this, and spoke to all their lads, and made a huge impact in that part of the industry in a very short space of time. Towards the end of 2023 we had a really sad time. Cayman passed away, and yeah, he had a sudden heart attack, and obviously we're still feeling that loss now. It's taken us a while as a charity to bounce back from that. As friends and family, it's taken us a while to bounce back from that, and to get over that, if we ever will. But the good thing that did come from it, his final application he made for it to become a charity was successful. Just a few days after his funeral, we got the good news. So it was bittersweet. He would have been so proud of that moment, and everything we'd achieved up to then. Everything he worked hard for was for that moment. But like you say, it was bittersweet. It was a tough time for us, the family, everyone, all friends, all the workers on site. We worked together too. But the good thing is, it's now a charity, and we're here to really take it off and go towards the construction industry and kind of break the stigma. Really help people with mental health. So on the site we were working with, Cayman created a lads mind culture. So people would open up, they would share their feelings more so than in a normal construction site. People would feel safe to come in and have a word if they're having a problem. And yeah, the banter was amazing, but at the same time it was recognised when it was too far. Mental health really was considered on this site. And all of the projects we visited to, we really tried to build that same kind of culture, and I think we really did take off at that time. We had a vision to build a strong community where people felt safe to talk openly, look out for each other, and seek help with mental health issues. And I think that's the main thing. As men, do we really seek help? Do we really speak up when it comes to mental health? Especially in this industry, do we? Not enough, I think. Do we have a safe place to talk with and confide in someone? Not enough, I think. But yeah, that was his vision, and that's what we're working towards now. So yeah, big tribute to Cayman there. He was a great person. He used to, a great thing about Cayman, he brought people together. He was a fun-loving person, but he brought people together. He'd often find people jobs to come and work on his sites. We'd organise football tournaments and matches and games where people could get together. And nights out, we had some amazing nights out, holidays, abroad, big parties. He was a real fun-loving guy. He used to love bringing people together. So, big tribute to Cayman, fondly known as 32. So, now, why are we doing this? So, Terry's not here, she's working today, but we're the 3 trustees of the charity, and we've all worked for our own mental health and personal struggles. We understand what it's like, and we want to continue helping and inspiring others. We were very close to Cayman and have been on a journey with him from the beginning. We want to continue his vision and legacy. We understand the construction industry still needs to improve on raising mental health awareness. And we want to reach out to the workers just like you guys. We want to encourage them to seek help when they need to, break that stigma around mental health. And a big goal of ours is to reduce the suicide rate. We'll go into the stats later, but it's really bad in construction, as we know. People don't seek help, and that's where the problems begin. So we want to reach out to people before it gets to that stage. And we want to build a solid community and campaign towards greater support for the workers and you guys. We want to improve the working conditions where possible. So I'll give you a personal story about myself. I'm going to open up to you guys where I've been through my experiences with mental health. So with construction, I've been in the game about close to 20 years now. I started off doing just agency labouring jobs, bit of demolition, rough jobs, stuff you wouldn't like to do. And I started an apprenticeship around 2009 on the Olympics as a carpenter. And yeah, it was good. I learned a lot in that time. I met a lot of amazing people, but I also had a few tough times. I've experienced quite a bit with bullying and my own mental health issues. I've never been a super confident person or somebody who happy to speak up if they're going through something. So I kept everything inside as well. So that led to bad coping mechanisms, and that's all come from keeping everything in. I've learned that from keeping everything in, that's when it all builds up. So on certain jobs I've been to, there'd be ridicule, and no matter what you did, it wasn't good enough. The foreman would be after you all day, and no matter what you do, nothing was good enough. Why did you do this? Why did you do that? And then other people would ridicule you. So I had a bit of a tough time in some of the jobs I've been on, and that led to me not really feeling like I fit into the game, into the construction game. And on the side, I'd be drinking, taking drugs like cocaine, weed, you name it, and not knowing how to speak and seek help and open up to anybody and confide in anyone. That's when it just kept going and kept going. And on the side, I didn't know if I wanted to stay in the construction industry, so I went with a little side business, renting properties and managing properties. And between the two things, working 50-hour weeks in construction, managing these properties, everything kind of collapsed around me. And my only way to deal with it was to go out, 3 or 4 nights a week, get pissed up and take drugs, and you name it. And everything spiraled out of control from being in a good position where I was probably able to buy a house at the age of 25 or close to 30, whatever I was. It turned out that the business thing collapsed and everything at work wasn't very good for me, so I ended up in probably debts of 15,000 or something like that, drinking my head off pretty much every weekend or 3 or 4 nights a week, drugs, you name it. And that's a really bad coping mechanism. I just, didn't know how to open up, didn't know how to seek help. But from there, luckily I met a good woman and I started a new job. So I went to work with Cayman on this job where I'm pictured in. That's the job I was talking to you guys about. And I left the job I was with, and I kind of slowly started to open up and confide in people like Cayman, my now wife, the girlfriend I met at the time. I started to confide, what was going on inside me, the shit I've been through, the bad coping mechanisms, the drink, the drugs. I confided in a lot of that stuff, and it started to turn my world around a bit. And so yeah, I started to, and Cayman brought this whole thing with Lads Minds along as well, and I started to open up in front of a room full of people like you guys, and that also helped me. Sharing this story to people like you guys helps me along the way to kind of deal with those things. And right now I don't drink as much. I've stopped taking drugs. I haven't touched cocaine in over 3 years. Weed probably over 2 years. I still have a drink with a meal or a couple of drinks on the weekend, but nothing like I was before. And yeah, partly due to this charity with Cayman and Lads Minds, and that's partly due to me wanting to turn my life around at that point. But yeah, being able to speak to somebody and having people to listen, that was the real thing that helped me. And yeah, so I've gone from being in 15k worth of debt and not having anything to show for my life, to, I found a wonderful woman, we got married, we've had a baby, she's nearly 2, and we just bought a house. It's a big difference. In the last 4 or 5 years from where I was, I had nothing, I was drinking, I was taking drugs pretty much every day. And these are all things I've learned with a bit of gratitude, a bit of positive affirmation as well. Telling yourselves you are a good person, these are the good things you can do, visualizing yourself doing good things, and being able to, that and being able to talk to people about your feelings and your emotions inside, I found they were the things that really helped me. So yeah, in the last 4 or 5 years, that's the progress I've been through. And finally, this is why I want to help inspire others with mental health issues to open up and talk about it, because I know what it's like to go through that. And I know that if other people was to seek help and to start talking about their own issues and confide in people, they could also improve their lives too. Yeah, thanks guys for listening to that. Obviously it's not easy to talk about personal issues or anything that's gone on in your life and open up to people, but thanks for listening.
Thank you much.
Thank you. So just after my story, we're going to give you some stats and a bit of an insight into what the industry stats are like with suicide and mental health issues. So, men in the UK are 3 times more likely to die by suicide than women. What do we think about that stat? Do women open up and confide in people more than men? I think so. But in construction, it's a male-dominated industry, so it's a room full of men here. Men are 3 times more likely to die by suicide than the national average for men not in construction. So what does that stat tell you guys? Are we 9 times more likely to die from suicide than a woman? Because we're 3 times more likely than men that are not in construction, and that's already 3 times more than a woman. That's pretty bad stats. So in the last couple of years, the average people dying of suicide has been around 700 per year. That's 2 per day. That's awful stats, and these are rising stats, so we just want you guys to know how much we care about you guys, and there is support out there. We don't want it to continue rising. That's why we're doing this. We want to kind of intervene somewhere and help those rates go back down again, because 2 per day, 700 per year is way too much. And just another thing here, 90% of workers have felt overwhelmed at times. 90%. And 25 have experienced suicidal thoughts. So how many people in the room? About 15? So that's at least 12 of us have felt overwhelmed. Anybody here felt overwhelmed at times? Yeah, definitely. Anybody experienced suicidal thoughts recently?
Well, not recently.
Well, at all. Suicidal thoughts? I mean, 25%, that's technically 2 or 3 people in this room. Over 65% of construction workers feel there is a stigma surrounding mental health, which stops them from talking about it. So that's probably about 10 of us. Anybody feel that there's a stigma here that stops them talking about it? I definitely do. Construction is still a very macho environment. It's a little bit toxic in terms of people sharing and confiding in people.
Is that more than general, like, working men, though? Is it just construction, though? Is that 65%?
Yeah, that's all.
I think maybe the whole world
Yeah,
is stigma surrounding mental health, don't they?
Oh, big time. Big
So
time.
it's not just construction, is it?
No, big time. I imagine that's for construction, but I imagine the statistic for men would be pretty much similar in a lot of trades, a lot of industries. But yeah, these stats are taken just from the construction industry, but like you say, they could be very similar in other trades. Okay, things we need to normalize for men. Mental health issues. Is it okay to go through mental health issues? Is it normal? Yeah, I think the stats there and the way we are as people, definitely true. go into therapy? Anybody here go to therapy? Yeah. I don't, sorry, I shouldn't have raised my hand. Anybody considering it? No? Asking for help. Do we feel, anybody in here, when you're going through something, do you feel comfortable to ask for help? No? Showing emotions? As men, do we show emotions enough?
Probably not.
No, I don't think we do. I definitely don't. I probably still don't ask for help as much as I should do. Speaking up, like asking for help, and not being okay on a daily basis. Is it okay to just have a bad day, not be okay for for a few days, for a while? Is it okay? Of course it is. You know, we have ups and downs as life. That's how it works. Okay, we're going to go through a little video for you. Just like, for example, you know somebody's suffering. The different, you want to step in and help them confide, listen to them. A little bit of a difference between empathy and sympathy.
Do you think?
So yeah, this is just a little video, a little bit of tongue-in-cheek perhaps, about the difference between empathy and sympathy when listening to people and their issues.
So what is empathy?